second half of this Sunday WNBA doubleheader here on Peacock. The Storm and the Fever about to get underway here in Indianapolis as we hand it over to public address announcer Kurt Streblo for our starting lineups.
Now let's meet the starting lineup for your Indiana Fever. A 6'2" forward from Stanford wearing number 10, Lexi Hall. A 6'2" forward from Louisville wearing number 2, Maisha Hines-Allen. A 6'4" center from UCLA wearing number 25, Monique Billings. A guard 5'8" from Ohio State, number 0, Kelsey Mitchell. And from Iowa City to the Circle City, a 6-foot guard from Iowa, number 22, Caitlin Clark.
Played last season, this Lexi's first start of 2026, and we are underway in Indianapolis. China Robinson, Kara Clark, the hit ahead. Hines-Allen lost it. What a drive by Jade Melbourne. All of last season with that ACL injury. And good defense by Monique Billings. Clark ahead to Kelsey Mitchell. Oh, good cut by Clark to Billings for the deuce. Yes, of course. And of course, Kelsey Mitchell lays it up and in. Iron Johnson the rebound. Fed that like a book. Look at this ball movement. Caitlin Clark has her first 3 points. Taken away by the Fever. Really that energy player for Indiana. And she floats it up and in Los Angeles. Sophie had 12 points in that one, and the defense really led the way, holding the Sparks to 78 points. Back-to-back buckets, and a chance to tack on one more for Cunningham. Here's the veteran Mitchell. Oh, what a pass! Tips it up and in. That was all Kelsey Mitchell.
Being back on the floor together has been so much fun, and that finding their rhythm.
Here's Mitchell again. The scoop and the score. After folks who maybe you're too production for the Fever, and more importantly, Washington getting out of here with a win. Final 2 minutes of this first quarter. Cook, the step back 3. Clark from just inside the logo. Listen to this place. Of everything for Seattle so far. Couldn't get the putback to go. Johnson, though, with a third opportunity. And there it is. Blanche's first points tonight.
And that is where she is special.
Blanche, the pull-up. And the jumper is good.
Beautiful mid-range pull-up.
Steph White said needed Billings to go to work underneath. And Monique does just that.
I love her fit with the Indiana Fever. No one home on the backside, and Stephanie White's going to call a timeout immediately.
She's a great defender. Scoops to Clark. And Clark lays it up and in. But then Van Sluten steals it away. And Van Sluten going coast to coast for Seattle. We want to be playing at the end as Clark hits the bucket and draws the foul. Horston into the starting lineup. The injury to Don Malonga, and Horston nicely done on the turnaround. Clark, shot clock winding down, finding hole on the cuts, and Lexi Hall floats it up and in.
That's the chemistry.
Clark to Hines-Allen for the deuce.
That was
After the Fever took the first, 32-19. Shot clock at 4. At 3, Clark nicely done to Mitchell.
threading the needle on that pass.
They're into the starting lineup with no Malonga. And Kelsey Mitchell behind the defense lays it up and in. Points per game through the first 3 of this season. Heidemann, nicely done by T. Heidemann.
And is playing with a little bounce.
Johnson from the elbow does just that. A couple of rookies stepping up on the road here for the Storm.
Who says the Storm don't have shot blocking without Don Malonga? But you got to get back.
Nobody got in the way of that wide open Kelsey Mitchell 3. Cunningham turning the corner and scooping it up and in and drawing the foul. Great play there.
Maisha Hines-Allen already proving her value.
Van Sluten, nicely done for the Storm. Lexi Brown with a 3 for Seattle. Pace picking up here at the end of this third quarter. Ooh, Cunningham from the hash mark. Yes, ma'am! Sophie Cunningham saying, Caitlin Clark, anything you can do, I got you, teammates. 7th rebound for Clark. Bounces it into Hull. And Hull, another fantastic inbounds play. Clark to Cunningham for the deuce.
Is that 10?
10th assist. You got a double-double. Just 3 rebounds away from a triple-double tonight for Clark. Nice look down from Heidemann to Dolson. It's the announcer drinks as soon as we start talking about it. And Cook hits the 3.
And Zia Cook has stayed locked in.
Clark, jump stop, and the finish. 21, 10, and 7 tonight for Caitlin Clark. Harris is able to beat the shot clock buzzer, LaChina.
Yeah.
What a tap in by Timpson. Melbourne on the give and go with Dolson.
There's been nothing easy for Melbourne.
Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever just opened their season in the wildest way possible. 104 points. A home crowd that was absolutely ready to explode. Aaliyah Boston battling inside. Kelsey Mitchell hitting huge shots. Caitlin Clark looking healthy, fast, and dangerous again. And somehow, it still was not enough, because the Dallas Wings walked into Indiana and beat the Fever 107-104. And the most shocking part was not just the final score, it was how calm Paige Beckers looked while doing it.
We are not overreacting to the Indiana Fever losing this game. We are not. Under no circumstance are we overreacting to this. It's one of those things where the Indiana Fever played minutes. They played minutes of exceptional basketball and a lot of bad basketball.
This was supposed to be Indiana's statement night, the first game of the regular season. The building was buzzing. The WNBA's 30th season was tipping off, and Caitlin Clark was back in the spotlight after being limited last season. That was the setup. Caitlin Clark back, Indiana at home, Stephanie White leading a Fever team with real expectations, but Dallas had no interest in being part of someone else's celebration. From the opening minutes, you could feel it. The Wings were not scared of the crowd, they were not scared of the moment, and they were definitely not scared of Caitlin Clark. Right away, Dallas put Paige Beckers into the action. Paige was matched up on Clark early, and that immediately gave the game a different feeling. This was not just Fever versus Wings. This felt like the beginning of a new rivalry. Clark on one side, Paige on the other, two of the biggest names in women's basketball sharing the same floor on opening day. And Dallas punched first. Paige hit an early 3 after an offensive rebound. Odyssey Sims came out firing. Arike Ogunbowale started finding her rhythm. And Indiana was suddenly chasing the game instead of controlling it. That became the story of the entire night. Every time the Fever looked like they were about to take over, Dallas had another answer. And that is what made this game so dangerous for Indiana, because Caitlin Clark did not disappear. That is the scary part. Clark had moments where she looked exactly like the player Fever fans needed her to be. She attacked the rim, she hit from deep, she pushed the pace. She found Aaliyah Boston, she pulled up from deep again. Then she attacked the basket and finished through traffic. Later, she spun inside and laid it in, looking healthy on the finish. And when Clark started imploring the crowd, it felt like Indiana was about to flip the game completely. But here's the problem. Indiana gave up 107 points, and you cannot keep asking Caitlin Clark to win shootouts every night. That is where this loss becomes bigger than one game. The Fever scored 104 points at home and still lost. That tells you this was not just about offense. This was about stops. This was about rebounding. This was about late-game control. And Dallas exposed that immediately. Stephanie White had already been pushing the Fever to be better on the glass and go after the basketball.
I don't know, but I don't want to deal with this the first game. I don't want to deal with them trying to lie. I don't want to deal with them trying to cover up. Like Caitlin Clark might not be dealing with an issue if she is. Another thing, Stephanie White need to be fired. I don't give a damn what they say. I don't care how they put it. Stephanie White is not the coach for Caitlin Clark. As soon as Caitlin Clark got to going, and she started having that third quarter explosion we all seen, Stephanie White immediately took her off the ball. Then she started realizing, damn, we're not scoring anymore. Let me put the ball back in Caitlin Clark's hand. All these different experiments, all these different things that she doing is not it, bro. I just got to be honest. It's just not it.
The broadcast noted that Indiana struggled with that in the preseason was all three. Arike finished with 22 points. Paige finished with 20. Odyssey Sims finished with 20. 3 Dallas players scored at least 20 points. That is a nightmare for any defense because you cannot load up on one player. It shocked them because she looked poised. She looked comfortable. She looked like the moment was not too big. That is what stood out. She was navigating traps. She was making the right reads. She was using her size in the mid-range. She was getting to her spots. And late in the game, when the Fever navigated the defense beautifully and delivered the ball to Odyssey Sims at the exact right time. Later, Paige used her size for a fadeaway, made a move while guarded by Clark, and then had a poised late possession with a fake, a take, and a make. That is why this performance matters. Paige did not look like someone trying to survive Caitlin Clark's spotlight. She looked like someone comfortable taking part of it. And that is a major message to the rest of the league. Because Dallas did not just win this game with talent, they won it with composure. Indiana kept fighting. Aaliyah Boston had strong moments inside. Her footwork looked sharp. She cleaned up misses. She made passes that opened the floor. Kelsey Mitchell was aggressive all night too. She attacked early. She finished tough layups. She hit a huge late three when Indiana desperately needed one, and for a while, it looked like the Fever were going to steal the game back. That is what made the ending hurt even more, because Indiana had chances. They had the crowd. But the Wings never did. Arik hit tough shots. Paige stayed steady. Odyssey Sims made one of the biggest buckets of the game when she attacked Clark and banked it in. And Dallas kept making Indiana defend every part of the floor. That is what good teams do. They do not just survive the run, they answer it. Late in the fourth, Dallas found just enough offense to keep the Fever at arm's length. Indiana had one final chance down three with 1.3 seconds left. Kelsey Mitchell got a clean look. The crowd held its breath, but the shot did not fall. And that was it. Dallas 107, Indiana 104. The Wings walked into Indiana and ruined the Fever opener, but the post-game comments made it even more interesting. Enrique said Dallas has a lot of pieces, and because of that, they do not always need to take the tough shot. They can kick it to the next player. She also admitted Dallas did not play great defense, but they dug in when it mattered. That is the part Fever fans should pay attention to. Dallas scored 107 points. They beat Indiana on the road. They had 3 players score 20 or more. Paige looked composed. Arik looked ready. Sims looked like a problem, and they still walked away saying they can be better. That is a warning. For Indiana, this is not. The question is simple. Was this just one bad defensive night for Indiana? If you're still watching, drop Wings warning in the comments.
All right, it looks like the GOAT Caitlin Clark may be finally taking somewhat of a stand versus the nonsense that Stephanie White has been attempting to push upon her. We just saw Sophie Cunningham talk about Kelsey Mitchell potentially winning MVP and all of this stuff. It seems like everybody has forgotten the reason that all of the people are here, themselves included.
Caitlin Clark just sent a warning that Stephanie White cannot ignore. And the scary part is, she did not need to scream. She did not need to call anyone out. She did not need to start drama in front of a microphone. All Caitlin had to do was say the quiet part out loud. If she does not play basketball well, none of this comes with it. The tickets, the cameras, the sold-out arenas, the national TV games, the brand deals, the attention, the entire machine that has suddenly wrapped itself around the Indiana Fever.
Oh man, let's pull it up right now and let me show y'all what the hell I'm talking about, because they in trouble. They're in a world of trouble. Now, this is the footage right here. Let me scroll down. We're going to go over this stuff here because they showed the final roster. So this is the clip. What's crazy about this clip? I missed this clip yesterday. This clip came out yesterday morning. It said, our coach allowed a supporter, Stephanie White, mic'd up. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Let's watch this. Let's watch it.
Don't be trying to get athletic. Just be bullied. Good. Good. Yeah. Yeah, KK. Come on, Yellow. Yeah, tell him, Mike. Come on. Great cut. Great cut. Good. Mismatch. Yes. Good, Didi. Good, Tori. Good. Nice. Yes. Good. Good.
What the hell is this? What the hell?
That was not just a quote. That was a warning, because Caitlin Clark knows exactly why people are watching. They are not tuning in to see her stand in the corner. They are not buying tickets to watch her become a normal off-ball guard. They are not filling arenas to see the most electric player in basketball get turned into a side piece in someone else's system. They are watching for the logo threes. They are watching for the full court passes. They are watching for the chaos she creates when the ball is in her hands. And now, all eyes are on Stephanie White, because if the Indiana Fever get this wrong, the backlash will not be small. It will be loud, it will be emotional, and it may turn into the first major crisis of the Caitlin Clark era.
When it rains, it definitely pours, man. Stephanie White is back in the hot seat, dog. Now, there have been several videos coming out that various people have been posting showing Stephanie White at practice. Now, when practice first started up, after the CBA negotiations and stuff was over with, we was noticing something, a trend within Stephanie White. And to me, it looked like she wasn't coaching. Looked like she was just standing there clapping. Like a what? Cheerleader. That's what she was doing. It was a whole lot of her not coaching. Somebody who was coaching is the assistant coach, Coach Kelly. He was coaching a lot. I mean, we seen Coach Kelly running up and down the sidelines, coaching as if it was a game. That's what you want to see, energy from your coaching staff. And I'm here to tell you, when it came to Breonna in January, she was coaching. We seen her do interviews. We seen her running up and down the sideline, coaching. Anytime we see Stephanie White, she's standing there, paper in her hand like this. Paper in her hand like this. That's what we see Stephanie White doing. And I'm telling you right now, this upcoming game against Paige Beckers and the Dallas Wings, and the Wings look good. They don't look bad. They look good, and they damn sure don't look great, but they are beatable. Very much so beatable. Now, this is going to be the biggest test of the season already. Because I'm telling you right now, the whole season campaign is going to be fire Stephanie White. That is going to be the topic. I can almost guarantee you.
But before we go further, let's be clear. This is not about Caitlin Clark demanding special treatment. This is about the Fever understanding reality. Caitlin Clark is not ordinary. She is not just another young player trying to find her place. She is the reason Indiana became appointment television. She is the reason casual fans now know the Fever schedule. She is the reason every possession feels like it can become a viral moment.
This here is courtesy of Yahoo Sports, where it says Caitlin Clark spoke to Yahoo Sports about her growth as an endorsement sensation, business mogul, and more. Okay, now in this article, it is Caitlin kind of talking about, being an off-the-floor sensation and all this popularity and all of that is great. But the only reason all these people are here is because of my greatness on the floor, and I have to continue to showcase that at a high level if I'm gonna keep this stardom. Okay, we already see ticket prices dwindling, fans taking a stand versus the organization, okay, for some wrongdoings, being lied to all last season about Caitlin Clark's injury, the day-to-day status, which was complete BS, and they know it, we know it, I know it, you know it. So Caitlin Clark says this, okay? Caitlin Clark is a marketing juggernaut, but says winning will unlock more. At this point, Caitlin Clark can sign and secure any brand deal she wants. The only thing missing from her meteoric rise to global ubiquity is winning an elusive championship. The Indiana Fever superstar guard has helped spur the WNBA's growth to record heights as the league tips off its 30th season this weekend following a newly signed collective bargaining agreement that increases the average player's salary fourfold from 2025.
So when Caitlin says the basketball has to come first, she is not just talking about winning games. She is talking about the entire product. Because the Caitlin Clark product only works when Caitlin Clark is allowed to be Caitlin Clark. That means pace. That means freedom. That means the ball in her hands. That means letting her read the floor, bend the defense, and force opponents into panic. And that is where Stephanie White suddenly finds herself in a very difficult position. Because fans are already nervous. They have seen the practice clips. They have seen Stephanie White clapping on the sideline. They have heard the generic encouragement. They have watched assistant coaches look more active in certain moments. Now, to be fair, practice clips do not tell the full story. They are short, they are edited, they can miss context. A coach can be teaching before the camera rolls and correcting things after the camera cuts. But in sports, perception becomes reality very fast.
There is no doubt in my mind, Caitlin Clark fans is pissed off with Stephanie White. Y'all want to know what happened yesterday? I went live yesterday, right? And instead of us mourning the loss of McConnell, no. People wanted to talk about Stephanie White. Stephanie White gotta go. This has to stop. Now, there was some footage from the Indiana Fever that was dropped by the admin yesterday. Now, why they dropping this footage, I have no clue whatsoever. One thing I can say, I think the Fever admins need to drop footage that caters more to the fans, because that's essentially why y'all dropping the footage, is to, get the fans hype, get ready for the season. Now, these little experiments y'all doing just ain't it. I just gotta be honest. Now, granted, they can't get on board to be all like, hell, Stephanie White just standing there clapping like a cheerleader. No, they can't do all that. But something that they can do is play some, at least with her coaching. Come on, Caitlin. We need you to go right, go left, shoot a three, send the ball to Caitlin. Something. Give us something to be happy about. Because I'm telling you right now, this footage they dropped yesterday, oh my God. Guys, this is not it. This is not it at all.
And right now, the perception is dangerous. Fans are asking one simple question: who is actually running this team? Because from the outside, it looked like Stephanie White was trying to win over the cameras instead of showing the fan base a clear plan. And when a fan base already fears that Caitlin Clark might be underused, those clips become gasoline on the fire. That is why the panic is real, not because Stephanie White has already failed, but because she is now being judged before every game even starts. Every substitution will be watched. Every play call will be analyzed. Every time Caitlin goes 3 possessions without touching the ball, fans will notice. Every time she gets parked too far from the action, fans will react. Every time the offense looks slow, predictable, or disconnected, the same question will come back. Is Caitlin Clark being unleashed, or is she being controlled?
I don't know, but I don't want to deal with this the first game. I don't want to deal with them trying to lie. I don't want to deal with them trying to cover up. Like, Caitlin Clark might not be dealing with an issue if she is. Another thing, Stephanie White need to be fired. I don't give a damn what they say. I don't care how they put it. Stephanie White is not the coach for Caitlin Clark. As soon as Caitlin Clark got to going and she started having that third quarter explosion we all seen, Stephanie White immediately took her off the ball. Then she started realizing, damn, we're not scoring anymore. Let me put the ball back in Caitlin Clark's hand. All these different experiments, all these different things that she doing is not it, bro. I just gotta be honest. It's just not it.
And that is the real tension here, because fans are not just worried about wins and losses. They are worried about Caitlin being iced out. They remember last season. They remember the awkward stretches. They remember the moments where Caitlin looked like she was fighting the opponent, the pace, and sometimes even the rhythm of her own team. They remember when the offense did not always feel built around the player who made the league impossible to ignore.
On a night in, night out basis, in the WNBA, doing my thing and being spectacular doing it. That's the reason all these people are here. That's the reason all these people have gained all this interest in the league. So to hear her voice that understanding, Stephanie White ain't gonna be able to stay in the way it is. Oh no, Caitlin Clark is not about to let bonehead Stephanie White block her greatness and even more opportunities that are waiting for her.
So now, any hint of that happening again becomes a problem. That is why comments about running plays for Kelsey Mitchell created such a reaction. And let's be fair, Kelsey Mitchell is not the villain here. She is a serious scorer. She is important to the Fever. She can absolutely help Caitlin Clark win. But balance cannot mean confusion. Balance cannot mean pretending every player has the same gravity. Balance cannot mean taking the ball away from the one player who changes how every defense in the league has to think. Because when Caitlin Clark has the ball, the entire floor shifts. Defenders step higher, help defenders panic earlier, passing lanes open, bigs get easier touches, shooters get cleaner looks. The whole team becomes more dangerous. So yes, the Fever need more than Caitlin, but they cannot build an offense that makes Caitlin feel like just one option. That is not balance. That is overthinking. And Stephanie White cannot afford to overthink this, because the pressure around Caitlin Clark is bigger than basketball now. This is business. This is media. This is the future of the league. Caitlin Clark is tied to massive brands: Nike, Gatorade, State Farm, Xfinity. National broadcasts, sold-out arenas, primetime slots. The Fever are not just coaching a roster anymore, they are managing the most valuable spotlight in women's basketball. That means every decision has consequences. If Caitlin looks electric, everybody wins. The Fever win. The WNBA wins. The broadcasters win. The sponsors win. The fans win. But if she looks boxed in, if she looks frustrated, if the offense looks like it is trying to make her smaller instead of bigger, then the questions will become brutal. Why would you take the most exciting player in the sport and make her less exciting? Why would you slow down the one player who brings new people into the building? Why would you ask Caitlin Clark to fit into a system when the system should be built around her? That is the warning Stephanie White has to hear. Caitlin Clark does not need to threaten anyone. Her value speaks for itself. The ratings speak. The ticket sales speak. The endorsements speak. The fan reaction speaks. And now the next game becomes the first real test. Because practice clips and interviews only tell us so much. The truth shows up when the ball is tipped. Fans will be watching everything. Who brings the ball up? How quickly does Caitlin touch it? Is she initiating the offense? Is she coming off high screens? Is she attacking downhill? Is she creating early pressure? Is she being trusted to control the tempo? Or does the offense look slow, careful, and afraid to let her cook? That is what people want to know, because one game will not define the season, but it might define the trust. If Stephanie White comes out with a fast, sharp, Caitlin-led offense, the noise can quiet down quickly. Fans will forgive practice clips. They will forgive awkward media moments. They will forgive early uncertainty if the product on the floor makes sense. But if the Fever come out flat, if Caitlin looks disconnected, or if the offense looks like it is trying to prove a point instead of win games, then the backlash will explode. And that is the part Stephanie White cannot ignore. This fan base is not passive anymore. They are not just watching casually. They are emotionally invested. They have spent money. They have traveled. They have bought jerseys. They have defended Caitlin online. They have helped turn the Fever into one of the most talked about teams in basketball. So they feel ownership over this moment. And whether that is fair or not, it is real. They want proof that the Fever understand what they have. They want proof that Caitlin is the engine. They want proof that Stephanie White is not going to turn the most electric player in basketball into a safe, watered-down version of herself. And this is where Stephanie White deserves a real chance. She is experienced. She knows the league. She has been around high-level basketball for a long time. A few short clips do not prove she cannot coach. But this is not a normal job. This is not a normal roster. And Caitlin Clark is not a normal star. The patience level is different. The spotlight is different. The consequences are different. Stephanie White is coaching in the middle of a storm, and every decision she makes now carries more weight than it would anywhere else. That is why Caitlin's warning matters, because it cuts through everything. The fame only matters if the basketball works. The business only grows if the product stays electric. The fans only keep coming back if Caitlin Clark is allowed to be the player they came to see. So now Stephanie White has one job. Do not hide her. Do not slow her down. Do not overcorrect. Do not turn the most dangerous weapon in the league into a decoy. Build the offense around her gravity. Let her create. Let her attack. Let her make mistakes if she has to, but let Caitlin Clark be Caitlin Clark. Because if she is unleashed, the Indiana Fever become must-watch television. But if she is held back, the fans will not just complain. They will revolt. And that is why Stephanie White is already under pressure. Caitlin Clark's warning was not loud, but it was clear. The league is watching. The fans are watching. The sponsors are watching. And now Stephanie White has to prove she understands the assignment. If you're still watching, drop Unleash Clark in the comments.
Now, I told y'all, the Indiana Fever don't look too bad, baby. My goodness. They put hands, feet, kneecaps, ankle brace, a whole everything all over the whole city of New York. So Brennan Unescu and Brianna Stewart looking like ancient people.
Clark, a deep three.
She scored the first basket of the game, 9 months away from professional basketball, 2 surgeries worth of recovery, an entire season stolen by injury. And the moment Caitlin Clark stepped back onto that court against the New York Liberty, she scored the very first basket of the game.
Headed all the way to Billings. Billings down low. Hands it off to Clark. Clark being guarded by Gardner. Puts the floater up and rattles it in.
I really like the aggressiveness, and you can hear the crowd just getting into it.
The crowd lost their mind, and honestly, so did the rest of us. But here's the thing, nobody is talking about this morning. What happened after that shot is actually the more interesting story. Stick with me, because this one goes deeper than the highlight reel. Let us set the scene.
Okay. Preseason has finally kicked off. The Indiana Fever go into New York and walk out of New York with a W in hand. Things that I liked.
April 25th, 2026, the Indiana Fever opening their preseason against the defending Liberty, and Caitlin Clark playing in her first WNBA game since July 15th, 2025, 9 months and 10 days ago, walking out onto that floor with every camera in the building pointed directly at her. She admitted she had nerves, said it herself before tip-off, but she also said this, and I want you to remember this line: this isn't a real game. I understand that, but that's how we treat it, like a real game.
How much do you expect to play today? Can you talk to them about that?
Yeah, like 20-25 minutes is probably what you're going to see. Not like a minute restriction or anything like that. Just, wanting to see some other lineups of people that are, trying to make the team and giving them opportunities as well. So that's still a good amount of minutes. I expect to be out there, and basically I'm pretty sure we're planning on treating the first half like a real game, and I expect New York to probably do the same. And then, second half, a lot of other people are going to get some run. So, but yeah, I expect to play a good amount.
That is not a player easing in. That is a competitor. And it showed from the very first possession. Clark received the ball, attacked the paint, and scored. Just like that. First touch, first basket of the entire game. The building erupted, and then, 2 possessions later, she did the thing that has become her signature. Pulled up from 29 feet, stepped back, released it flat and clean, and watched it disappear through the net.
Yes, she is a knockdown shooter. She is feisty over there, making the offensive foul. Clark takes the 3 and drills it.
Oh my! Behind the back. There's not a question that she has come up in this game, getting right early.
2 possessions, 2 makes. She looked like she had never left. And then the shooting stopped. Her final 8 shots of the game, all misses. 2 for 10 from the field overall, 1 for 5 from 3. After those 2 opening makes, Clark could not buy a basket. Now here is where most channels are going to frame this as a problem. They are going to clip the misses, write the hot takes, and tell you the rust was showing. I want to give you the actual story. Clark played 17 minutes, all in the first half. 17 minutes, managed carefully by the coaching staff, in a preseason game against a full-strength Liberty team. She had 0 turnovers. She had 4 assists, 3 rebounds, and a block. She finished +1 on the court. And when the fourth quarter came around and Indiana needed to close it out, they did not need her to do it. Shatori Walker-Kimbrough scored 9 points in a 21-4 closing run. Kelsey Mitchell and Walker Kimbrough each finished with 18 points. Sophie Cunningham dropped 13 off the bench. The final score, Indiana Fever 109, New York Liberty 91, an 18-point blowout. This is the part that should genuinely excite every Fever fan watching this. For the past year, the narrative around Indiana has been simple. Caitlin Clark is the team. When she goes down, the team goes down with her. The 2025 season seemed to prove that point. 13 games for Clark, a season that went nowhere. But what happened on Saturday? Clark played half a game, shot 2 for 10, and Indiana still won by 18 against the New York Liberty. That is a completely different team than the one we watched in 2025. Think about what that actually means heading into a full WNBA season. Clark does not have to be perfect. She does not have to carry 35 minutes every night. She has weapons around her now. She has depth. She has a roster built to win games even on her off nights. And every great player has off nights. The pressure that used to sit entirely on her shoulders, it is spread out now. And for a player coming back from the kind of injury year she had, that changes everything. Now let us talk about the shooting, because I think it deserves honesty rather than spin. 2 for 10 is not what Clark wants. She knows that. She is the most self-aware player in this league when it comes to her own performance. And you can bet she walked off that court with a list of every shot she wants back. But here is what I noticed watching the misses. None of them were timid. None of them were the shots of a player protecting herself, second-guessing her body, playing scared. Every single attempt was aggressive and confident, the kind she would have taken in her rookie year in college, in any game at any level. The mechanics were there, the courage was there, the shots just did not fall. That is rust, and rust burns off fast. After the final buzzer, with Indiana celebrating a dominant win, Caitlin Clark was not dwelling on the shooting numbers. She was talking about the team, about the win, about what this group is capable of over a full season. That is who she is. She scored the first basket of the game when it mattered most, when 9 months of waiting and wondering and doubting was sitting on her shoulders and every eye in that building was watching. She delivered in that moment without hesitation. The rest of the game is a footnote. The 2026 season starts now. The Indiana Fever are 1-0 in the preseason. Caitlin Clark is healthy, back on the floor, and playing with zero fear. And a team that once lived and died by her every shot just beat the Liberty by 18 without her playing a single minute of the second half. The league has been put on notice, and we are just getting started. If this video got you fired up for the 2026 season, hit that like button right now. It means the world to the channel. Subscribe if you are not already on board, because we are covering every single Fever game this season as it happens. Drop your prediction for Clark's 2026 season averages in the comments. We will be reading every one. Be